Imagine this, you just printed a cool object in your 3D printer, but now you realize this. This looks fucking ugly. And with that, welcome back everybody to Pushing Free Will, a YouTube channel dedicated to 3D printing, Star Wars cosplay, and anything else engineering related. And in today's video, we will be eliminating those pesky layer lines once and for all. I have queued up 4 different methods for you, each involving their own little technique, and 2 of them will be done in the slicer, requiring almost no effort, and 2 of them will be post-processing techniques. I will show you how to perform each of them, and at the end we will compare and see where each method shines and what it does wrong. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Of course, we need to test all this properly, so I made 5 samples from PLA Plus from Sunlu, and I made it in black, just so that you can see the layer lines just a bit better. Quick disclaimer, the post-processing ones will not be the same color as the filaments, so if that is something you want, the post-processing options will not be something for you. But that doesn't matter right now. We will be starting anyways with the slicer settings that you can adjust to improve your layer line problems. The first method we will be looking at is just reducing the layer height. This can be done really easily in your slicer in the quality tab, and just change your layer height. Here, some important stuff to note is that you should not go above or below 60% of the standard layer height of your nozzle. That means if you're using a 0.4mm nozzle, your standard layer height will be 0.2mm, so you should not go below 0.08 or above 0.32, which is 60%, because this is just standard. You can't go too high or too low. The next option we will be taking a look at is fuzzy skin. Another option you can enable in your slicer. It's pretty hidden, but it requires basically no extra work. You can find it in the others tab in your slicer. Until you land on fuzzy skin, you scroll. Then you click contour to just affect the outer wall, set the point distance to 1mm and the thickness to 0.1mm. This is called a micro fuzz. Let's talk about the results of the slicing settings. These are the 3 candidates. Let's start with the standard that has nothing on it. This is just, standard as you would get it out of a 3D printer. The sides, well, yeah, there's layer lines. And on the top, big stair stepping. Let's compare this to the fuzzy skin setting. As you can see, from the side, it looks not even 3D printed, this one. From the top, though, there is still a major stair-stepping effect. So, if you want to have this, I guess it's a cool look, but it does not hide all of the layer lines. Let's compare this to the 0.08mm layer height setting. You can see on the side, a lot less layer lines already, especially you can see it on the corners. But on the top, this is where it really shines. The stair-stepping takes effect way less than on the other one, and it just looks a lot cleaner, but it also prints way slower. I mean, the print time for this was like I think double this one, so yeah, it doesn't come without a cost, but it still looks pretty solid. These are the 2 samples with the normal one in the middle. I think all of them have something, but I think the fuzzy skin does something aesthetically, while the lower layer height just makes the layer lines less visible. The first post-processing method we will be taking a look at is sanding and priming. What you will need for this is all of this. You will need your object, some sandpaper, and filler primer, which is basically just a really heavy spray paint to cover imperfections. I will be taking all of this outside and wearing a mask because you do not want to breathe plastic dust, and so safety's first, guys. To start with, you take a pretty rough grade of sandpaper. I chose 120 here, and I just started sanding away at the surface. And I did this for a while until I felt it was smooth enough for a second pass of a slightly finer sandpaper. With the finer grade sandpaper, you don't need to go as heavy as with the first one, and if you go too heavy, you're just going to end up weakening and damaging the plastic. So just do it as a finishing touch. So here's your before and after of the first step. This is before, and after sanding it should look somewhat like this. For the second part of this process, the priming, I'll be wearing another bigger mask that also filters gases because this primer releases some really nasty stuff. Give the can a good shake before spraying and then apply a light layer first on the surface that you want to have, and then start going away with heavier passes. After you're done, leave it outside to dry, and a good indicator to see if it's dry or not is not just touching but also smelling. If you still smell a lot of acetone-like smell, it is not completely dry, but right after spraying it should look somewhat like this. Finally, when it is completely dry, you can go ahead with some sandpaper that is even finer and sand away until you feel the surface is smooth. The good part is that you can repeat this process of priming and sanding as much as you want until you are satisfied with the quality of the surface. Here I only did it once, which also shows I could get much better quality by doing it more, but I want to show the most simple state of this process. The last method I'll be covering in this video is spot putty and sanding. This is everything you will need. It's the same as before, but now we're also using spot putty, a thing usually used for cars, but you can also use it for 3D printing cosplay, and it is used to just cover surface imperfections. Yet again, when applying this, I'm going to be wearing a mask and doing it outside because this really stinks, and I mean it really stinks. I'm also going to be wearing gloves, nitrile gloves to be exact, and to apply it, you just take a little bit on your finger and rub it all over your surface evenly. And I also made sure that on the stair stepping, I took a bit more so I have a bit more buffer room. This is what the final thing should look like, and after you leave it to dry, you can get away with sanding it. And you just sand it smooth, basically how we sanded everything else in this video. And when it's done, it should look somewhat like this. As a last step for both of the post-processing methods, I will be using some Montana Gold spray paint in black to spray these to the same color as the rest. You don't have to do this, but you can, and it's especially handy for cosplay. Okay, so now let's take a look at all of the different options. The normal one that we have is right here. This is just the regular one. Let's start comparing it to the ones we haven't discussed yet. These two. We have the filler primer method and we have the Bondo spot putty method. Both of them did pretty okay for the time that I have spent. They're both a bit scratchy because they aren't, too post-processed, but this one is pretty good, and there's practically no layer lines that you can see here, and it looks pretty clean, especially for a 3D print. This one needs a bit of work, and it's honestly pretty expensive, and it takes a lot of time, so only do this if you're really dedicated. But looking at all of these next to each other, I have to say the winner really is this one. The 0.08 layer height model. It is really smooth, like everywhere, and it took basically no more work. It just took a lot of time. And if you have time, that is what you should do. So here you'll see another close-up of everything, and I hope you learned something. Alright, so this is the result. I hope you learned something in this video, and if you liked it, or just watched it for fun, you could stick around by subscribing. There is a lot more like this coming on this channel. Maybe even leave a comment, what do you want to see on the channel, and like it if you don't want to lose this video. Anyways, thank you so much for your attention, and as always, have a great day.